me show you a truth table gate. Okay, let me quickly open an Excel. Okay, so let's have two inputs. And then we'll have output. Okay, so these are my inputs, and now I will have three outputs. Okay, one can be an AND output, another can be OR, and another can be NOT output. Okay, NOT can work on single input. Okay, okay, we'll now understand and try to understand what this is. Okay, so AND or NOT, and I put a border. Okay, correct, this won't go anyway. So okay, so now I have two inputs X and Y. Okay, and I want to put X and Y output. So if I put two inputs, now what I have drawn here, or what I have shown here, is a logical gate. Okay, some of us who have done BTech or BCA, or have done logical tables in school times, might be familiar with this. So let me tell you in brief what this is about. So you have two inputs. Okay, one is X and Y. It can be any input. Okay, now one is one to input. Okay, so I have this input 0 and 0s and 1s. Okay, so now when I go for and when I go for OR, and when I go for NOT, just see the difference that we get in data, the output. Okay, so 0 0, so 0 indicates false and 1 indicates true, right? So whenever we have both the zeros, that means and will have false, right? Next, when 0 and 1 is there, 1 means true and 0 means false. Because there's 1 0 at least, so we will call it as false. Okay, again here. We have 1 here and we have 0 1 0 here. So because we have 1 0 at least, we call it as false. Okay, and then we have 1 1, which is true. Okay, now if I go for OR, again for 0 and 0 it is false only. It's the same. But now for OR, whenever even 1 is true, the output will be true. Okay, so whenever there is at least 1 the output will be true. Okay, next one also is the same example. Okay, so you see the difference is quite visible. Okay, for and OR, so for and, even if one false condition is there, your result will come in false. Okay, but in OR, even if one true condition is there, the result will come in true. Okay, so you need to know which one to use when, and an or. Now let's move to not. Okay, like and and not can work on two or more multiple columns, right? And and not can uh, work on two random inputs or two or more. But if you see for not, right, not can only take one expression or one input. Okay, so now for not of x, okay, so not means just reversing the number. Okay, so example, this is 0, and then I go here and write 1. Okay, again 0, so here it is 1. Okay, now it is 1, so now it will be 0, and again it will be 0, right? So now we have ones and zeros coming. So this is what and, or, and not truth table is. Okay, so if you understand this concept properly, then understanding the concept in PPT won't be an issue. Okay, let's see how and, or, and not are represented. Okay, so the first what we see is and. Now the and function in Excel is a logical function, okay, that tests multiple conditions and returns true or false depending on whether they are met or not met, right? The formula of and condition is and then we put the logics. Okay, so every logic will either come to a true or a false value. If not, input it hardly. Okay, um the formula for the and function, so now you know. Okay, the function accepts the following argument: logical 1 and logical 2. Okay, so logical 1 means this is the first condition or logical value to evaluate. Okay, this is the second condition or logical value to evaluate, which means logical 1 means only the important parts and features of phone, right? Only those are kept. And in the logical 2, this is the second condition or the logical value to evaluate. You can have multiple things. Okay, so let's see what all do we have. Logical 1 is a mandatory argument and logical 2 is an optional. So basically, you can have multiple logical conditions in that, like 2 or more than 2, but logical 1 is important, like one condition at least is important. Okay, so like I said, it returns true if all the conditions or logical values evaluated true. It returns false if any of the conditions or logical value evaluates to false. Okay, it can have more logical values depending on the situation and the requirement. Okay, it treats the value 0 as false, like I told you, and all non-zero values as true. So basically all the non-zero values will have true. It ignores empty cells provided an argument. Okay, so whenever you put an argument, it will ignore the empty cell. Okay, next what we see is or. I will just complete and or not for the slides and then I'll go to the PPT. Okay, so what is or function? Or function in Excel is used to test different conditions in the meantime. Okay, so the logical condition helps you in comparing two values of statements in Excel. Okay, it will return true if at least entry of one of the arguments or conditions evaluate as true. Okay, similarly, it will also return false if all the arguments or conditions are false. Okay, so that's the difference between and or. Okay, so and will return a value only if all the values mentioned in the or condition is true. In the same way, Sam, so when you do this and you get all the things same, right, then it will be true, because even if single logic is true, if single input also is true, then everything will be true. Okay, written value again, For if, for sorry, for or, for and, the written values also are true and false. Quickly going to not. Okay, after not I'll take you to the practicals. Okay, so not Excel function is a logical function in Excel, which is also called negation function. Okay, why negation function? Because it negates the value which is returned through a function or a value from another logical function. Okay, this is inbuilt function in Excel which takes a single argument, which is the logic, which can be a formula or a logical value. Now, what is the compulse form parameter here? So logical, it is the numeric value 0 is considered false, and the rest of the values are considered true. Same. Logical is an expression that either calculates the true or false. It will return true if the expression is false, and return false if the expression is true. Okay, that is what not condition is. Okay, now we'll go to the next part later. Let's quickly see how not works. So this one I would suggest you to stop um your recording which you're seeing, and just try to type it down. Remember, here I've written 1 and 0, reason being 1 represents true and 0 represents false. That's why I've typed to show you the difference, that both are same, it's just the representation. Okay. Okay, so now what we have is, if the player clears all the level, he or she is winner, which means what we have here is a data of the players and whether the player has cleared level 1 or not, level 2 and level 3 or not. Okay, so if a player has cleared all the levels, okay, then that player will be a winner. Okay, so let's see how did we do this. And okay, so let me just put this as true. So it is true as yes, so I've done that. Now let's see. Okay, travels. So you see, we get the correct result where only one of them is true, right? Where this player 2 only has completed all the levels. Rest of them have not completed one or the other level. Okay, so that is how we do for AND function. Next thing is, when you have the student name, percentage, and the grades, right? You want to see which grade did. So you have only you have student name and percentage. Now you want to see which grade did the child come in. Okay, with the A plus, B plus, right? Okay. Now the percentage chart is greater. It's written here. Okay, so it is 90%, 80 to 90, 75 to 80, 7 to 75, 60 to 70, 50 to 60, 40 to less than is equal to 50, and so on, less than 40, right? So this is how my percentage chart is. Okay, always keep focus on what they want on less than, greater than, not greater than, equal to. Okay, so you need to be careful about that part. Okay, so this is the formula. I'm not going to write it down because there's no point of writing it. It's really big. So what I'm doing is, actually I am searching for my data. So B plus B is greater than 90. If yes, then A plus. If not, then 90 is lesser than the person in B2. Okay. Now, if this is false, if this is false, it goes to this. Okay, so because if is the third condition of the first if condition, it is a nested if, what we learned in some classes, in some hours back, right? Okay, so if and b2 is greater than 80 and b2 is less than 90, okay, then what you do is you create another variable. Okay, so once you do that, so if and again and is checked here. If now the condition falls between and, then good. If and then b plus will be printed. If not, again we go into if. Okay, now 70 75, then 60 70, then 50 60. Okay, then 40 50, and if in nothing of it, if and if in nothing it falls, then the answer will be fail. Okay, so this is what and is about. Okay, next is if the sale amount is greater than or equal to 1000 and less than 15,000, sorry, 1000 and 1500, so the incentive amount will be 100. Same way, 15 to 20 it is 150, 20 to 30 is 200, and 400 above is 5 is 400 again. Okay, so now what we did this, if the sale amount is greater than or equal to 10,000 and less than 10,000, sorry, 1000 and 1500. Okay, so what did we do? Again same thing. So if the sale is coming in 100, okay, so why? Because sale here is coming in 1000, and 1000 is nothing but it is here, the last one. Okay, so b2 is equal to 1000 and b2 is less than is equal to 1500. Okay, okay, so I hope you are clear with what is the AND function. Okay, next what we will go and see is the not or function. Not will come after that. Okay, so now this is the or function. Now what happens in the or function? In the and, if you would have seen, both the conditions which we put in the and condition needs to be true for the evaluation to be true. Okay, now in the contrary, in one, even if one is true, the output will be true. Okay, okay, so now what we are doing is or. So what we're saying is if it is oranges or bananas, then take the input, otherwise don't take the input. Okay, so what we're doing is we are putting formula 1 and we are okay. So what we're doing, we are offering up bananas and oranges. So if bananas and oranges are available in this, okay, then true, otherwise false. So see, banana is present, oranges are present. Again, we have false. Cherries are not present. Oranges are present, and cherries are sorry. Oranges are present and cherries are not present. Okay, so like this, we can have multiple tables, and you can see the differences between and or and not. Okay, so again, let me just repeat quickly. And this when you have all the conditions you have given separated by a comma. So all the conditions should be true. For or, either of the conditions should be true. Okay. Okay, so now we have the not condition. So what is a not condition? See, what we are doing is in case the value is red and blue, put an X. For rest of all, put a tick. Okay. So what do you do for that case? You put your colors. Okay, right now we are doing with colors, right? So you put your colors and then name something and put a quantity now. Okay. So now if you see or of this, which is Hyderabad. Okay, so this okay, out of this, so one is red and one is blue. So only if this is red and blue, then only if either of them is true, then it gives a true for this condition. Now this true, when it went into not changes, right? Not is something which is negation. It negates the value which it gets. So it will negate and it will put its false. Now if gets a false from a not, it will execute the third one, right? So if gets a false, it will execute third. Now if I want to put, um any other color, okay, so maybe this color blue. Now blue is there in this, okay, that means all of this is true, okay, and true or of false is false, okay. Okay, so because it is false, it identifies, false, it will execute, not identify, it will execute the third condition. Okay, so this was about and or and not. It is very easy. The main thing is you need to understand how and or and not works. Get the concept in your mind. Okay, if you want, you can rerun this section once again and see that what are the blockers you have.